If you're struggling to get your guitar harmonics to sound at all, the reason may come down to this one thing that you learned when you started to play guitar. Because in order to play guitar harmonics properly, you actually have to unlearn something that you learned at the beginning when you started to learn to play guitar. And being able to unlearn this thing can be the trick between having crystal clear bell-like shimmering guitar harmonics and bruised fingers. Ouch. So let's go back to your beginnings as a guitar player. When you started to play guitar, you probably noticed that playing guitar took a lot of effort. It's kind of hard to get the instrument to sound. You have to press super hard to get any of the chords to sound. If you don't press hard enough at all, you won't get anything out of the instrument. And the main advice that I give to beginner guitar players, especially younger players, is that you have to press quite hard to get any of the notes to sound. The first month is actually pretty painful for beginner guitarists. I even remember how hard I had to press. I would have lines on my fingertips, and the pain goes away after about a month when you develop calluses on your fingertips. For me, it takes about an hour of playing before I'll notice pain like right here on my pinky finger. As your playing improves, you notice that you gradually need to think less about how much pressure that you need to use. Conversely, when you start to get to more advanced playing, you actually have to loosen up a bit on the pressure, because in order to play fluently, in order to play quickly on the guitar, you have to be careful about how much pressure you're actually using to play the notes. And I've also seen how lightly you can touch the guitar and still get the strings to sound. So as you guess it, this is the core reason why when we come to guitar harmonics, the main reason why your guitar harmonics aren't working comes down to pressure. And by the way, if this is your first time here, my name is Vachon, and I help fingerstyle guitar players master this genre on the acoustic guitar. As you become an advanced guitar player, you'll notice that the precision of your fingers matters more than the amount of pressure that you can use. So the pressure that you use sometimes compensates for not having good finger placement. But when it comes to guitar harmonics, you need to have 100% accuracy with your finger placement and 0% accuracy on the pressure. But if you're still someone who uses a lot of pressure to play guitar, I'll show you in a moment how you can channel that pressure into your guitar harmonics technique so that you won't struggle as much with pushing down on the strings. So you've probably noticed that with bass notes, you don't have to be 100% accurate with the finger placement. You notice on the bass strings that you can actually put your finger in the middle of the fret and it sounds okay. Like here I'm on the middle of the fret on the 5th string and I can get the string to sound perfectly fine. But with guitar harmonics, that's not the same. You need to be as precise as possible on where you place your finger. And how you know where to place the finger for the guitar harmonics is that you want to know exactly where the node is. Now, I explain what nodes are in my guitar harmonics video, so you can go watch that if you want. But for this example, we're going to take the node, which is the precise area where if you place your finger on that spot, you're going to get a guitar harmonic. And this node is located exactly above the fret. And even if I just go a little bit, I'll notice a big deterioration in the quality of my guitar harmonic. So that's where precision comes in. If you want to know for the most common guitar harmonics, if your finger placement is totally accurate, you really just need to know that you are placed exactly on top of the fret. So if you want to really test your finger accuracy, do it on the treble strings because they're pretty unforgiving. If you're too far away from the node, you're not going to get much of a sound at all. And when you're right over top of where you're supposed to be, you'll get a perfect harmonic sound. So now let's get back to pressure. I said before that you can channel what you've learned about guitar pressure into playing better guitar harmonics. And here's where the trick comes in. So you want to think of, instead of using pressure on your fingertips, you actually want to use pressure in the middle of your finger. So what I like to think is if I take my hand and I push right in the middle of my finger joint, like let's say if I'm going to use my pinky finger, so if I push there on my pinky finger like that, then I resist the pressure with my hand, my pinky finger kind of straightens out. And this is the shape that you want to have when you're going to be practicing your guitar harmonic. So you want your finger to be as straight as you can possibly get it, and that helps to have the perfect surface to when you're going to touch to play guitar harmonic. So using pressure in the middle of my finger to stiffen it out like that. And I'm going to go directly on top of the fret and then pull away my finger after I do the harmonic sound. Now you'll notice if I go say in the middle of the fret, I'll still get a sound, but it won't be anywhere as clear as if I get right in the middle of the fret like that. It's much clearer this way. So instead of imagining that you're pushing into the guitar, imagine that you're pushing against your finger, which is pushing into the guitar. And that will also help you lighten up on the pressure that you are using to play harmonics on the string. Because if you use too much pressure on the strings as you're doing a harmonic, you mute the string as you're pushing it down. You might stop the vibrations of the string. This also goes for when you're going to be doing slap harmonics, which is where you're going to be tapping or slapping right on top of the node. And the rebound must be exactly over top of where the note is. So practice doing as little pressure as you can, the lightest possible pressure that you can to get the harmonics to sound. It's important that when you're going to be doing harmonics that you actually remove the finger that touched the harmonic note if you want the clearest possible sound with your guitar harmonic. By the way, this is the same idea that I teach when doing bar chords. So you want to have your finger as straight as you can, and you push in the middle of your finger to get the bar chord to sound. And if this is something that you're interested in learning how to play better bars, then I have a free guide that you can get on my website, and I'll leave the link for that in the description. So here's the shape when I'm doing bar chords. I'm stiffening up my finger, and then I'm applying pressure in the middle of the neck to get the bar chords to sound. And if you're interested in learning about another thing that may be causing your guitar harmonics not to work at all, even if you have perfect technique, then you should watch this video where I explain something that you should be aware of when you're playing fingerstyle guitar songs and using harmonics at the same time. So you should check that video out, and I'll see you in the next video.